Tonight, we're remembering 12 overlooked R&B guitarists, players whose work shaped the sound of soul, rhythm, and blues, even if their names didn't always make the headlines. And the guitarist waiting at number 1.
The doors and borders, there's room for all, yeah.
Well, his sound has probably followed you through more memories than you realize. Let's begin with number 12. Number 12, Hold On, I'm Coming, by Sam and Dave. Guitar, Steve Cropper, the song arrives like a promise. That tight, snapping rhythm guitar doesn't ask for attention. It simply takes its place and holds the whole record together. In 1966, Stax Records in Memphis had a sound that felt different from anything coming out of Detroit or New York. The groove was leaner, earthier, almost like the music was breathing with the room, and Steve Cropper was right at the center of it. Cropper wasn't a flashy player. He rarely stretched a solo across the spotlight. Instead, he worked with space, short bursts of rhythm, small melodic phrases that fit perfectly between the horns and the vocals. During the recording session for this track, legend says the groove came together almost instantly. Cropper locked into a rhythm so natural that the band simply built the entire song around it. But what stays with you isn't the technique. It's the feeling of reassurance inside those chords. The guitar moves like someone steady beside you, keeping pace while life sorts itself out. And sometimes, that's exactly what a song needs to be remembered. Number 11, Rainy Night in Georgia by Brooke Benton. Guitar, Reggie Young.
But it's a rainy night in Georgia.
The first thing you notice is the quiet. Before the words even begin to settle, there's a soft guitar line drifting through the air like distant headlights on a wet road. By 1970, soul music was beginning to slow down in a thoughtful way. The arrangements felt more spacious, the moods heavier with reflection.
Over and by my suitcase, trying to find.
And Reggie Young had a gift for living inside those quiet spaces. He had spent years in studios across Memphis and Nashville, becoming one of those players producers trusted when a song needed something deeper than decoration. On this recording, the guitar never rushes. It simply waits, answering the vocal in small, careful phrases. Young once said he tried to play only what the song asks for. And on this track, that meant restraint. Each note hangs just long enough to echo the loneliness inside the lyrics.
Distant morning of the train scene.
It's the kind of guitar you notice most when you're driving at night. Street lights sliding past the windshield. And if you've ever had one of those long reflective rides home, that sound probably felt like company. If that song carried quiet solitude, the next one carried something a little sharper. Number 10, Memphis Soul Stew by King Curtis. Guitar, Cornell Dupree.
4 level tablespoons of boiling Memphis guitar.
The groove walks in before you even realize it. By the late 1960s, instrumental soul records had started carving out their own space on the radio. Musicians who had spent years backing singers were stepping forward with bands that let every instrument speak. Cornell Dupree was one of those voices.
And now we need a little pinch of organ.
His style wasn't loud or showy. It was confident. Short, clipped rhythm figures that snapped perfectly into the pocket. On this track, the guitar feels almost conversational, slipping between the bass and horns like someone telling a story across the kitchen table. Dupree grew up in Texas before making his way into the New York session scene, where producers quickly learned he could give a song exactly the kind of groove it needed.
Is this right? That's it right there.
One small detail stands out in the recording, the way his rhythm lines tighten every time the band builds energy. It's subtle, but it changes the whole feel of the room. Because sometimes the best guitar players aren't the ones taking the spotlight. They're the ones quietly steering the entire groove. Number 9, Clean Up Woman by Betty Wright. Guitar, Willie Little Beaver Hale.
But I'm ready to learn. Yes, I'm.
The guitar slips in like a quiet smile. Just a few notes, light, precise, almost playful. And suddenly the whole record feels alive. By 1971, Miami had begun shaping its own version of soul music. The sound coming out of those studios was looser, warmer, and full of rhythm that felt closer to everyday life than polished radio production.
I don't need no.
Willie Little Beaver Hale was one of the musicians helping define that sound. His guitar work on this track doesn't try to overpower the song. Instead, it dances around the rhythm section, small melodic figures that seem to float just above the groove. There's a famous story from the session that says the riff was nearly accidental. Hale was warming up while the band settled into position, and someone in the control room said, "Hold on, play that again."
You cut down the rainbow's glow.
That little pattern stayed, and what makes it unforgettable isn't complexity. It's the sense of ease behind every note. You can almost hear the room smiling when it plays, because some guitar lines don't demand attention. They simply make you feel good to be where you are. If that record carried warmth, the next one carried something a little more restless. Number 8, Who Is He and What Is He to You by Bill Withers. Guitar, Benoist Blackman.
A man we pass, just try.
The groove doesn't hurry. Instead, it circles slowly, letting tension build the way real questions tend to do. In the early 1970s, Bill Withers had a way of writing songs that felt like honest conversations. Simple on the surface, but filled with emotional weight underneath.
I had something in my heart.
Benoist Blackman's guitar helped create that tension. Rather than filling the song with busy lines, he plays short, deliberate phrases that almost sound suspicious, as if the instrument itself is asking the same question the lyrics are asking. Blackman was known in Los Angeles studio circles as a player who understood mood. Producers called him when a track needed atmosphere more than flash. One quiet detail in the recording stands out.
Not enough but to get dumb.
The way his chords tighten every time the vocal line grows more uncertain. It's subtle, but it pulls you deeper into the story. Because sometimes a guitar doesn't need to explain anything. It only needs to hold the feeling in the room. Number 7, Let's Stay Together by Al Green. Guitar, Teenie Hodges.
So in love with you. But
Some guitar parts feel like they've always existed. This one moves with a gentle confidence, soft chords that wrap around the rhythm like warm light through a window. By the early 1970s, High Records in Memphis had developed a sound that felt both intimate and polished. Producer Willie Mitchell knew how to leave space inside a recording, and Teenie Hodges understood exactly what to do with that space.
I'll never be untrue.
Hodges didn't attack the guitar, he coaxed it. His chords arrive with patience, almost like they're breathing alongside the vocal. Nothing is rushed, nothing is forced. During the sessions that built Al Green's signature sound, Hodges became the quiet architect behind many of those unforgettable grooves. One small detail musicians often point out is the softness of his touch. Even when the band swells, his guitar never loses that relaxed, floating quality.
Never do got to be.
It's the sound of someone who knows that love, real love, rarely needs to shout. Sometimes it just settles gently into the room and stays there. If that song carried tenderness, the next one carried a little more heat. Number 6, Superfly by Curtis Mayfield. Guitar, Curtis Mayfield.
Darkest of night with the moon shine.
Before a single lyric appears, the guitar tells you exactly what kind of world you've stepped into. Those high shimmering notes don't just decorate the song, they create the atmosphere. By 1972, Curtis Mayfield had already shaped Chicago soul for years with the Impressions. But when he stepped forward with the soundtrack for Superfly, he showed just how powerful his guitar voice could be.
The game he plays for kids.
Mayfield played with a distinctive style, often tuning the guitar differently so the chords rang out with a brighter, almost suspended feeling. On this track, his playing moves between rhythm and melody as if the two were never separate things. One detail that stands out is how his guitar seems to glide over the groove, almost floating above the rhythm section rather than sitting inside it. It gives the song a sense of motion, like a city street that never fully sleeps.
Ooh, Superfly. You're gonna make your fortune back.
And if you were around in those years, that sound probably felt like the soundtrack to a changing world. If you're still listening, you're probably one of us. Subscribing helps keep these stories alive. Number 5, Rock Steady by Aretha Franklin. Guitar, Cornell Dupree.
Rock steady, baby. That's what I feel now.
The groove arrives low and confident, not rushed, not flashy. Just a steady pulse that settles into the room like it's been waiting there all along. By the early 1970s, Aretha Franklin had already reshaped soul music. Her voice could move mountains, but behind that power stood musicians who knew exactly how to support it without crowding the space.
Rock steady, baby.
Cornell Dupree understood that balance better than most. On this recording, his rhythm guitar locks tightly with the bass and drums, creating a groove that feels almost conversational. Each chord lands with precision, but there's a looseness to the way he lets them breathe. Dupree had spent years as a New York session guitarist, playing on hundreds of records. Producers valued him for one simple reason: he knew when not to play. Listen closely, and you'll notice how his guitar slips in and out of the rhythm, sometimes barely touching the beat before stepping back again.
Rock steady, woo, rock steady.
It gives the entire song a relaxed confidence, the kind of groove that doesn't ask for attention. It simply keeps moving forward, the way good nights often do. If that groove felt smooth and grounded, the next one carried something a little sharper. Number 4, I Want You Back by the Jackson 5. Guitar, David T. Walker. From the very first seconds, the energy is unmistakable. The rhythm guitar darts through the arrangement like quick footsteps across a polished floor. In 1969, Motown was reaching a new generation of listeners. Younger voices, brighter arrangements, and songs that carried a kind of youthful urgency. David T. Walker was one of the quiet craftsmen behind that sound.
Won't you please let me rock you?
His guitar on this track adds a crisp, dancing rhythm that keeps the entire arrangement moving. It doesn't dominate the record, but remove it, and suddenly the song would feel half its size. Walker became one of Los Angeles' most respected session musicians, appearing on hundreds of recordings across soul, pop, and jazz. What made his playing special was the lightness of it. Even on a song bursting with excitement, his guitar never feels heavy.
Won't you please let me?
It moves like a spark, quick, precise, and full of life. And if you were young when this record first hit the radio, that sound probably felt like the beginning of something new. Number 3, Love and Happiness by Al Green. Guitar, Teeny Hodges. The groove opens slowly, almost like a door easing open on its hinges. Nothing about it feels hurried. The rhythm guitar settles into a pattern that seems simple at first, but the longer you listen, the deeper it pulls you in. By 1972, Al Green and the musicians at He Records had found a sound that felt deeply human. It wasn't polished in the glossy way of some other studios. Instead, it felt lived in.
Something going wrong.
Teeny Hodges played a huge role in shaping that atmosphere. His guitar on this track works almost like a heartbeat. The rhythm pulses quietly beneath the band, holding everything together while the song builds its emotional weight. One detail musicians often notice is the way Hodges slightly shifts the timing of his chords, just enough to give the groove a relaxed, almost hypnotic sway. It's the kind of playing that doesn't demand attention, but once you notice it, you realize the whole song is leaning on that rhythm. Because sometimes the strongest presence in a room is the one that never tries to stand in the center. If that song held a quiet tension, the next one carried something even deeper. Number 2, The Thrill Is Gone by B.B. King. Guitar, B.B. King. This one doesn't need to hurry. The guitar speaks almost immediately, slow, aching notes that seem to bend under their own weight. By the late 1960s, blues and soul were crossing paths in powerful ways, and B.B. King stood right in the middle of that meeting point. His guitar, Lucille, had a voice that could feel almost conversational. He didn't play floods of notes. Instead, he let each phrase breathe, bending the strings until the emotion felt unmistakable. One small detail about his style stands out: the vibrato. That trembling, singing quality in his notes became one of the most recognizable sounds in modern blues and soul. But the power of this performance isn't just technical, it's the honesty. Every phrase sounds like someone remembering a love that slowly slipped away. And if you've lived long enough, you know that feeling doesn't fade. It just learns how to sit quietly beside you. Number 1, People Get Ready by The Impressions. Guitar, Curtis Mayfield.
Faith is the key. Open the doors and waters.
Some guitar sounds feel like they carry a message. Before the words arrive, those gentle chords already seem to be speaking. By the mid-1960s, the country was living through a time of enormous change. Voices were rising, movements were growing, and music often became the quiet place where hope could gather. Curtis Mayfield understood that better than most. His guitar style was unlike many players of the era. Instead of thick, aggressive strumming, he favored a softer touch. Chords that rang clearly, almost like bells, leaving space between them for the song to breathe.
Have pity on those whose chances grow thin.
On this record, his playing feels almost weightless. Each chord seems to float beneath the voices, guiding the song forward without ever pushing it. The rhythm is steady, but there's a tenderness in the way the notes open and fade. One small detail musicians often notice is Mayfield's use of unusual guitar tuning, which allowed those chords to shimmer in a way that felt both simple and deeply emotional. But the lasting power of this performance isn't technical. It's the quiet sense of faith inside the sound. The feeling that even during uncertain times, music could remind people they were moving forward together. And sometimes, a few gentle chords are enough to carry that reminder across generations.
This train, you don't have to have a ticket, no.
Music has a way of holding pieces of our lives. A certain guitar line, a familiar rhythm. And suddenly, you're remembering where you were, who you were with, and how the world felt in that moment. These players may not have always stood at the center of the spotlight, but their guitars helped shape songs that stayed with us for decades. And if you're here listening tonight, chances are those sounds are still part of your story too. If you enjoyed spending a little time with these memories, you might like the video waiting on the screen now. 10 R&B groups that broke up because of jealousy. It opens another door into the musicians and records that quietly shape the soundtrack of our lives. Until then, thanks for remembering with me.